we come in Advent to the beginning of the Christmas season. We're going to put our sermon series in the Gospel of Mark on hold for this week. We'll get back to it next week. We have kind of a short section in the Gospel of Mark that we're going to look at through the month of December, and it fits well with the Christmas season. But we're going to put it aside for this week. We've often been frustrated as people have tried to take the word Christmas out of this season, or take Christ completely out of the month of December. But in many ways, I think the Christmas that the secularists are trying to kill, in many ways, has already had a blow struck to it by materialism. And I've said before, the funny thing is, to me, that there's been those who say, well, you shouldn't say Merry Christmas, you say Happy Holidays. And I've said before that the funny thing in that is that holiday is just a contracted form of holy day. Really, they're not getting rid of anything. It's just, maybe what we need to strike a blow to, however, is the fact that materialism has taken over this season. And that's the problem. Isaiah, I read at the very beginning, we have seen a great light, those of us in darkness. In the Gospel of John, there is a remarkable story in which some of the Pharisees get together and they're debating, okay, this Jesus, what are we going to do with him? Could he be who he claims to be? Could he be who he claims to be? And they come to the decision that no, he can't be, for the simple reason that he's from the Galilee region. Not from Bethlehem, Jerusalem, not from the really important parts of Israel. And Jesus responds as if he has heard what they're saying. We find in John, he makes his claim that I am the light of the world. And what he's doing is he's responding and drawing their attention back to Isaiah chapter 9, the part that I read a little bit earlier. And if you go back a couple verses in chapter 9, do you know where it says that the light of the world is going to come from? Galilee. They've just finished saying, he can't be who he claims he's from. He's from Galilee. And then he gets up and he says, I am the light of the world. He draws their attention to Isaiah 9, where it says, the light of the world will be from Galilee. It's almost as if he's listening in. I am the light of the world. When Isaiah wrote that little passage about the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light, Isaiah was an aristocrat who was speaking to the powerful and the wealthy in a time that was good, in a time that seemed to be well off, in a time in which financially they seemed to be a success. And he says, but you are in darkness, but light is coming. Sound like today? A time of wealth. A time that's good. But you're in darkness, but a light is coming. A time is coming of great joy where all the warriors' equipment will be burnt because it's not needed. And how will that be accomplished? By the birth of a child. By the birth of a child. And then we come across in Isaiah 9 the incredible names that will be given to this child. He shall be called Wonderful Counselor. Wonderful Counselor. Who's he going to be a counselor for? The world. For the followers of Christ. He will be called Mighty God. That's a pretty powerful phrase right in itself. He's going to be God. But not just God, mighty God, one coming in strength. Everlasting Father, this connection between the Son and the Father. But not just a Father who comes and is gone, but a Father who will last forever. And the Prince of Peace. The Prince of Peace. Our God is great. There's at one point this morning, I'm going to show this in some different spots, but I was almost going to show you a clip from YouTube. And I just looked at it again and thought, it's not going to quite work. And I wish it would. You need a little bit more of an intimate setting, I think, to make this work. But every once in a while, we sing a song by an artist by the name of Chris Tomlin called How Great Is Our God. And in it, he calls on the world to sing together how great is our God, because as we sing that, and as we proclaim how great is our God, with unified voices of the church, then the world will know the truth. And I think there is something very real about our worship bringing truth. And the reason why I was going to show this particular clip is it was him singing with a worship band at this huge gathering of youth. Now, we often send our teens to a big gathering called YC in May. It was something like that, where it gathered together almost 20,000 teenagers. And you have this image of him singing with 20,000 teenagers. Now, right, that alone is a very powerful idea. But on top of that, for this particular gathering, he got singers from all over the world, and they sang together over a video link. And so it would pause, and he would stop singing, and somebody in Mexico would pick it up and singing in Spanish. And then a Chinese group would start singing in Chinese. And then the Philippines, a group singing in Tagalog. And then all over the world, there was multiple different groups of this, who stopped to sing. If we sing together with united hearts, how great is our God, the world will see the light through the darkness. I'm going to show that clip in a couple different, I'm going to show it tonight at Young Families and maybe in a few other spots. Because it is very powerful. This idea is we unite together in worship of the God who comes, and the light breaks into the darkness. We can have a world brought back to the place where it was originally created to be. This child changes everything. Verse 7 of Isaiah 9 says, "Of the increase of his government and of peace there will be no end. On the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish it and uphold it with justice and with righteousness from this time forth and forevermore." We have a babe who comes to bring hope, and one day he will return in a kingdom that will never end. And a kingdom that will be visible, will be absolute. It will be a kingdom of peace and of justice. A world in which will be right and loving, just as God created our world to be. We have glimpses of it now. And one day when Jesus returns, we will know it fully. The Lamb who was slain, according to Revelations, but also comes as one riding a white horse of conquest. He will make it right. And Christmas is our reminder of the power of that child. This verse that I've got up on the screen ends with this. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will do this. Do you know who wants the Christmas story to be proclaimed everywhere? Do you know the one who the most wants our world to be right? It's Jesus. It's Jesus. You may think that you really would like the world to be made right, but I promise you Jesus wants it a million times more. And he will do it. He will accomplish it. He will make our